So, welcome to episode 10 or 11.
12?
We're not sure. I'm saying 10, it could be 11. So, welcome to episode 11 of Shoot You Should Know. Today we've got special guest Simon with us. Simon is all things photography, the magic behind the camera. So,
I'll take that.
take that. So, like I said, it's going to be fitness related, a little bit of obviously background about Simon, and then we'll go from there. So, very small intro on the thing, but we'll get more into photography and how that come about soon.
Yep.
Biggest question is where's you training at the minute? Like, what are you training for at the minute?
Right. Okay. So right now, I'm doing a lot of running. So I've got a few races lined up in September and October. So I'm in the midst of a running plan, a half marathon running plan. To complement that, I'm doing some functional fitness training at a local gym.
Yeah, it's alright, we can say CrossFit.
At CrossFit Grimsby. I've been a member there for 2 years now, but it's taken a back seat whilst I'm doing the running because I just don't have the capacity to deal with it all.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So
Yeah.
any help on there would be welcome.
Enjoying the running?
If you asked me a year ago, I would have said no.
Yeah.
I would have said, why have I started running? It feels awful. My knees hurt. But having run for a charity last year and then run my first marathon last year, I'm actually enjoying it this time round. And I found it as a way to almost like just have Simon time. I'm just in my own head, my own zone. I disconnect from being a self-employed freelancer.
Yeah.
And so, I think the word is I do enjoy it now.
Yeah, good. Training for a half marathon first. Is there another marathon on the cards?
That's right. So September 18th, I've got the ABP Coastal Humber. Is that what it's called?
With
is it the Humber Coastal?
Maybe.
with some Unit 1 staff.
Yeah.
2 weeks after that, I've got the virtual London Marathon. So I'll be running that around Grimsby and Cleethorpes, as I did last year. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm running the Oxford Half Marathon.
Nice.
That's a lot in a short space of time, isn't it?
It is, and it is, and it isn't. I don't know. I think 2 weeks is almost enough to kind of recover. But ask me in mid-October, and I'll probably have a different answer, to be honest.
I feel like doing a half before a marathon, that's almost like training as well. It's not like, I know race is different, but if you're training for a marathon, you're going to be running up to half distances anyway. So
Was
that thinking? Or?
It is now.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. I realised this after I started the marathon training plan. I was looking at the plan, and about 15, 16 weeks in, you're doing 20-something kilometres in the training plan anyway. Yeah. So that's going to be right on time to doing the actual half around here. So it's kind of all falling into place.
Yeah.
We'll see if it pays off.
How did you find London Marathon virtually? Because obviously, when it comes to a marathon, race day, atmosphere, people, that's what drags a lot of people around. How did you find it sort of just running on your own, headphones in, head down, running London Marathon? Is that pretty much
when you say it like that, it sounds pretty miserable, doesn't it? And in some ways it was challenging because you don't, for those who need sort of the atmosphere and who want to see their closest on the sidelines supporting them and cheering them, I didn't have that. Yeah. What I did have was sort of knowledge of the route, the local landmarks coming up of Hillsby Wood and Peaks Parkway. Right, that's coming up now. So in that respect it was hard, but in some ways it's kind of more rewarding that I did it because I was able to genuinely get in the zone, and I didn't have any sort of support to lean on. But what I will say is that the London Marathon app that you had to download for the timing, they piped in audio from like old marathons every now and then, and as your distance progressed, they would say, "Oh, right now you'll be running past so and so landmark in London. Can you hear those fans? Can you hear those bands, that music?" So it was kind of, if you close your eyes, you're kind of there anyway.
We could just stand on the route and wave to you go past.
Absolutely.
Had you, prior to that, had you done a marathon before in like race environment or?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So what? That was September last year. I only started running January of last year, just out of COVID boredom.
Yeah.
Is that a term? You know what I mean?
In COVID times,
I just, because CrossFit Grimsby was closed and I didn't have work coming in. I was just starting my business, and I just thought, you know what? I need to do something. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I'm bored. So training prior to running them, we're allowed to say it. We're allowed to say CrossFit. We've nothing against CrossFit.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
CrossFit has that been like a part of your training for a long time, or?
I joined CrossFit Grimsby after I moved back to the UK from abroad, and it was just purely on recommendation from a friend who'd been there before. So I didn't really do much research into what gyms are around me. I just saw it and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go, see what happens. Otherwise I spend too much time in my Excel sheet comparing the prices and the services, so I just got stuck in. So I've been there for 2 years now. Consistency's been my biggest challenge. Probably for most of your clients as well, consistency, just getting in with some sort of progressive overload kind of, routine. And then running doesn't help because I have to kind of reset everything I've done in CrossFit Grimsby just to do 4 months of running training. But I suppose like here, like it's more than just the fitness aspect. Like there's always people there I know who will welcome me when I go back when I need it and when I need support. So it's a source of motivation.
Yeah.
Definitely. Helps, doesn't it, when you've got like you say, members that you know when you speak to. Like if you're going into a gym, you don't really speak to anyone. You've got that relationship with that gym. Like obviously people in the gym and stuff like that. That's where a lot of people just stop and then they don't really miss it because they don't miss anything apart from the training. Like the ones who generally don't enjoy training. There's a lot of people that sometimes don't enjoy the training, but they turn up because of the friends that they've got there and the relationships and stuff. So I think that's something that gets missed quite a bit sometimes.
I think you're absolutely right, and doing what I do for a job now, I look at a lot of how gyms try to promote themselves online, and I've noticed the go-to is kind of the pricing, the discounts, the brands of equipment in the gym, but actually if you've got enough money, any gym can buy that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if you're putting stuff out there which shows how the people are helping each other and how what you guys are like as coaches, because it's a face-to-face service, right? So, but yeah, you're right. Saying that, I don't think places like CrossFit Grimsby, even Unit 1, it's not necessarily for everyone either, because there are people who do like just to get in and out of the gym, headphones on, but for whatever reason everyone seems to think that's the only way to do fitness, and that places like this and CrossFit Grimsby do exist.
I'm a big fan of a bit of both. Like sometimes I will just be the most unsociable trainer ever, stick my headphones in and just crack on, and then sometimes I'll ditch my headphones and end up chatting for about half hour session. It's always a good mix of both. You a sociable runner, trainer?
No, I'd rather run, especially running, I'd rather do that on my own.
Running's hard, especially trying to walk.
You'd rather do it on your own?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'd say so. I don't mind the odd run with somebody, but I feel like running's one of them. You need your headphones in and you need to zone out. If you're thinking about running too much, it gets hard work, doesn't it?
I think that's another thing, because some people like to run with people. You join Cleethorpes Triathlon Club or whatever, because people almost use that discussion to get over the pain of running, don't they?
Yeah.
But,
I feel like Croxby's always one of them that I'd do it on my own, but I would always rather run Croxby. Yeah.
I've done it,
No.
So many people tell me, you need to go do it. It seems like this mythical, you have to do it.
What is it?
It's just there's just some big hills and a lap of...
Oh, hills. No, maybe not.
It's a tough one, I think it's 7k, but it's hard, but I'd recommend running that with someone.
Okay. It seems to have earned this status of like this...
The Croxby.
Yeah, the Croxby Crawl, is that what
that's it, yeah.
Recommended.
On my half marathon training, I will go for it.
7k I think it is. 7K, 4 big hills.
Oh, there's 4 big hills. People always talk to me about that last one.
Heartbreak Hill. That's not even the worst of the hills. It's steep, but it's not that long. There's the second one is just fucking endless. Like just running uphill forever. Like that's the hardest one if you're ever doing it. But we'll pencil the date. We'll go run Croxley together.
Right.
I'll run on my own with headphones in behind you. I think it definitely depends what your day's been like though. When I was teaching, I would definitely have wanted to go to the gym, headphones in, and just have some quiet time at the end of the day, I think. Whereas now I love training and like the social side of it a lot more, I think. But definitely when I was teaching, I quite liked that quiet time where no one spoke to me. I just trained on my own.
So, photography. That's what we come to talk about. How did that come about? Where did that one come from?
Right. So, rewind back to 2008.
Yeah.
I was at uni. I just finished uni and I had a bit of spare cash. I thought, right, now I've got loads of time to learn a new hobby.
Impressive to come out of uni with some spare cash.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well,
I said spit. I didn't say a lot. And so photography has just always been something that perked my interest, you know. And I thought, you know what, let's go all out, buy a nice fancy camera, and see what happens. So from there, I quickly learnt to love documenting just my life and the people in my life. So it wasn't about landscapes or architecture or anything like that. It's about people, like capturing the moment. Because at the time I didn't know it, but now I look back and I think I like that so much because you've got this ability to kind of freeze time in this sliver, in this picture, and like something you'll never experience again. And I think it's more than just a photo, it's like a time capsule, you know. And people often maybe don't realise that you miss things, like you forget things that happened, but this is like the only way to sort of document what's happened in the past. And so what are we, 14 years later, I've got, you know, tens of thousands of photos of myself, well, you know, my girlfriend, now my wife, and then my kids who were born in 2016. And you know, it was never planned, but it's just this huge archive of life in there that I'm just thankful I've got now, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the photography came from. It was always just a hobby, a personal thing. And now it's something a little bit different.
Hobby to profession.
Hobby to a profession, yeah.
Specialising mainly in sports?
Yeah, again, it wasn't the intention either.
No.
So when I moved back from France and I joined CrossFit Grimsby to sort my body out, to sort my health out after years of neglect, you know, I took the camera along just one day, just for fun, just to take pictures of the members, and you know, the feedback started coming back saying, "Oh, Simon, you know, you're pretty good at this." And then it was the head coach who said, "Oh, you know, maybe we could do a little deal here. You know, we need content for our marketing, so maybe you can take photos for us for discounted membership or whatever." And after a couple of months of that, members started approaching me saying, "Oh, Simon, I'm on a fitness transformation. Do you do photo shoots?" You know, I said, "No, but I can." So it kind of just grew from there in response to demand. You know, I never planned to do it. So, you know, at first it was just one camera and a lens, and now it's 3 cameras and 5 lenses and thousands of pounds of studio lights to do stuff that people are willing to pay for. So I feel really, really blessed, to be honest, that it's grown that way.
Yeah. With photography, is it a natural eye? Is it something that is like taught, or is it?
I don't think I have an answer to that.
No?
I think for me, I don't perceive myself as naturally creative, even though I see photography as a creative art, so to speak. I think some of it can be taught, but like many things, like people learn to express themselves in different ways, right? And some people are just naturally good at speaking, they're naturally good at stage presence, or they're naturally good at thinking things differently. And I think photography, in terms of seeing art, so to speak, some people just have it. They see things differently because we all have different sensitivity to colours and to light, so people will see shapes differently and things stand out differently like to them. So I think some can be taught, but some of it's talent as well.
Was yours mainly self-taught then, or did you done courses and things like that, or is it all?
YouTube would be my go-to.
I feel like YouTube is where most people learn it.
Absolutely, YouTube. I mean, you can, people say you can find anything on there you want if you have the time. If you don't have the time, then that's where things like the curated courses, online courses and diplomas and things like that come into the picture. So I've had a look at going to university to doing photography, but when you look into what is actually going to teach you, it's like, well, none of that is like how to run it as a business, so to speak. It's more about the philosophy and the fundamentals. So it wasn't really for me. The only sort of coaching or teaching I've had is with a mentor, a one-to-one mentor, throughout 2021. And this is a guy who's at the top of the fitness photography game. He's built a business from zero in the space of 4 years. And so I kind of just flew under his wing for that year just to get a feel and an overview of how he runs things. And that's where it's brought me to today. So.
Do you think having a bit of a training background and being involved, like say like your CrossFit shoots and things like that, like you know where the good shots are going to be, do you think that benefits it as well? Or
I think it's a strength. Knowing what you're photographing, so to speak, because if you were to ask me today to go photograph gymnastics, my knowledge is nowhere near as in depth as it is in CrossFit, because with CrossFit I know what all the movements are, I know where the peak moments are, like all the extension or whatever. But in gymnastics I don't know much about it, so I don't know how to anticipate, I don't know how to position myself, and things like that I think make or break a good photo, so to speak. Anyone can point and shoot a camera, but to consistently be able to produce something that makes people stop scrolling on Instagram, it takes an eye, it takes practice, and I think knowledge, you're right, knowledge is key, definitely. I suppose like for you guys, because you train what you train with a certain methodology, but if you were asked to train someone who needed specialisms in, I don't know, deep sea diving, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I suppose, I don't know if that's the right analogy to use, but
you'd have to do extra research before you did it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. To be able to like deliver properly and fulfill the client's needs. So, did I answer the question? I don't know if I answered the question there. What was it? The knowledge of CrossFit. Yeah, absolutely.
I think training in general and just getting the right shots.
You
do a very, very good job of it.
Oh, I'll take that. Thank you.
But I don't know if it that you thought that benefited or.
No, absolutely. I've built the business on functional fitness photography and fitness photo shoots, and more recently I've branched out to other types of photography like equestrian and windsurfing, motorsports.
That was my next question.
Extreme tractoring was it? It's something that the fans want apparently to see.
Right.
What was it? I was out shooting an equestrian event and I was just putting on my stories, and every now and then I make a little engagement piece. I'm like, I'll do a selfie, me and my camera. Guess what I'm shooting today? And I just put like a multiple choice thing. I can't remember what I put now. Something like obstacle course race, running. I don't know. And one of the last choice was just extreme tractoring.
I was hoping it was extreme tractoring.
And it got way more votes than anything. Obviously just for fun, but it goes to show people want something a bit different these days, don't they? So.
Yeah, that's it.
To be fair, one of my friends is a farmer, and he's like he's really popular on TikTok because he has like his drone filming around his when he's harvesting the fields, and he's got like a million views on TikTok and all sorts. So it's, there you go. Yeah.
There you go. That's where the engagement's at.
I need a tractor then, don't I?
Give the people what they want. That's what I say.
You can film some TikToks.
So that was sort of going on to the next question of what is the future for you, business training, even sort of what's
business training.
Two separate. So what's your future plans for training post-marathon.
All right,
will it be back to CrossFit, or will it be a bit mix of both? And then we can go into the
Okay, so with respect to training, I think what I've settled for is that the marathon's going to be an annual thing for me. I just want to do it for as long as I can as my own lifelong challenge.
So aim to do London Marathon.
Virtual London Marathon. If I can get into London, that'd be great. But I've had some friends who've been waiting 9 years to get into London Marathon, so I'm not going to hold my breath. Have you run London yet?
No.
Do you want to run London?
Possibly.
I'm struggling to even get to the
Alright, one step at a
time.
One step at a time.
It might get there. We'll see.
You're not applied yet then?
No. At
Okay.
one point I would have said 10k was like unachievable, and I got there. So I feel like I can do it. I know I can do it, but
There's
just
a content piece right there.
I've got
isn't
to
it?
talk myself into it.
Nothing is impossible. Okay.
I agree with that.
What?
That nothing's impossible. I do like. Well, one day I want to prove it, but I'm just not going to train. I'm going to go run a marathon. I've said that on the podcast now, so I'm going to do it.
There you go. It's winning the marathon.
Tell you what, I'll tell you in a second. There's a marathon.
I genuinely think, injuries and things aside, if you really, really had to, if you can run a 5k, a 10k, you can run a marathon. That's my opinion.
Just finish it, you mean?
Finish it. Don't obviously time's going to be if you train well.
Yeah.
Obviously your time's going to be better, less chance of injury. I'm not saying at the end of that marathon you're not going to be fucked. Your legs are going to be in pieces, and there's chances that you're going to be out of training for a few weeks. But I just think you see what people actually do, see what people achieve. You can go run for a few hours at a slow, steady pace. Stop, drink.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what he's saying. He's doing it.
I'm doing it.
This year,
I'm
after his holiday.
this weekend.
He's doing it.
After this podcast.
Yeah.
But then, when you say you can run a marathon, do you mean generally anyone, or are you just...
I don't think there's many people who run 5 and 10Ks.
Yeah.
Like if you don't run, if you can't run a kilometre, yeah, fair enough. But if you can run 5 and 10Ks, I just think the marathon's in there. Like do you agree?
What a statement.
Big statement.
What do you think stops people? Why do you think so many say they can't?
Scares them.
Yeah.
Fear.
Yeah. Scares them. It seems like a massive jump, and it is. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying a marathon's an easy thing. I mean, that was the second 10k that I'd ever run in my life this week. So.
And you still did it in a really good time, to be fair.
But I just feel like people talk themselves out of it before they even tried it.
It's the unknown, isn't it? I think.
Unknown. No, I think you're both right there. They talk themselves out because of the fear, because of the unknown.
Yeah.
And you think maybe just this stigma of needing a training plan, needing to almost like you can't run it without a training plan. Maybe that's what people are thinking.
Yeah. I think to train for one, it's a big commitment to train for one. Like I'm sure you know yourself, it's time and things like that. But yeah, I'm just a believer in just the majority is in your head.
I can see that.
I'm gonna put. It's gonna go up. I'm gonna get some shit. Isn't it?
You've got no excuse to not run it now.
Exactly.
Which one? The half.
The London Marathon.
You said marathon, didn't you? You need to do the full thing.
Yeah. You could do the half.
Right. One
He's
day,
doing it.
I'll run a marathon one day.
This year.
Yeah.
Not this year. No. Like I said, I know like it'll fuck my training for a long time after. I certainly haven't got time to train for them, and I know I'm saying that, but I could find the time, but I'm not willing to sacrifice my training at the minute or my time at home at the minute.
Okay.
So I could find the time to run one, but I'm not willing to at the minute.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like the half marathon. Like the 10k, I did train for it to an extent, but then my gym sessions had to drop down because if in the past I've done it where I've kept my gym sessions up, I've kept my running up, and then end up injured. So you have to make that choice, don't you? And then I do feel now like my lifts in the gym and things will be a lot less because I didn't train as much in the gym because I was running. So it's like the priority, isn't it? Like which one means more to me at the minute.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
But then I'll probably feel prouder at the end of the year winning a half marathon than saying like I did so much.
I think you'd be gutted if you go to that half marathon now.
I think I will, to be fair. I'm going to do it. I know.
It's on the podcast.
I know
Both said it on the podcast.
I'm talking myself into
Out
it.
there as well.
It is going to happen.
I'm
No,
running
it
a
is.
marathon, you're running Grimsby half now.
And Simon's running everything.
Yeah, Simon's just going to fill it up. There you go, it's out in the world.
Doing it.
I think that's probably a pretty good place to wrap up. So, thank you all for listening. One thing I will say is go follow Simon on... What do we follow you on, Simon?
Well, I'm having a website built at the moment, and the branding name is going to change a little bit, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that one. We'll keep you posted for that one. And if you're listening, a subscribe on Spotify always goes a long way, and sharing with your friends and family is always massively appreciated. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.